Are you ever thinking, wow, I would love to get my friends together and explore the city through drinks? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring. We want to understand how young adults in Vancouver discover, choose, and navigate to breweries, and the implication of these activities for designing a digital platform that effectively supports this. Now, our users are between the age category of 19 to 30, who would like to enjoy bars and breweries in a group as a social activity. Now, our process was beginning with a field study, where we were able to generate the requirements. From there, that helped us build our low fidelity prototype, and through iterations, we were able to build our medium fidelity prototype, then go into pilot testing, which prepared us for our experiment. Now, for our field study, we conducted it with 8 participants, with observations and interviews, and the key insight were the reliance that our users had on friend recommendations. They also found it really challenging to gather information when it was scattered in multiple places, and Google Maps was the popular tool to perform this task. Then we moved into our prototyping, where we began with lo-fi wireframes, moved into sketching, cognitive walkthroughs, which helped us develop design iterations, which finally led us to our medium fidelity prototype on Figma. Then we performed our pilot study with 2 participants, where we ran through the entire experiment to determine the flow, which helped us determine the timing, if it made sense, any bugs that we had within Figma. We also needed to clarify our instructions to make sure that we were able to actually gain value out of the tasks that were being performed. Then finally, we ran our experiment, which was conducted with 8 participants. It was observations of both the A-B comparison, which we'll get into further, and user-guided exploration of the novel and social features, followed by an interview and questionnaire. Now for our prototype, the social features are a big component. In-app messaging and notification, as well as friend recommendations and collaborations on planning a trip. Trips are also a huge component that's novel to our prototype, so tracking history of trips and planning future trips, as well as our venue cards, where they're able to provide insightful information about a location, and then also our lists. Now, our goals for our prototype was efficiency, learnability, and user satisfaction. Now we'll dive into our prototype. The task that the users had to perform with our prototype was going into their saved list, where they have visited and want to go. From here, they will need to view all the information that's provided on these cards, as well as their recommendations. They would need to pick the closest one, which is the American, the cheapest one, which is the Heatley, and the highest rated, which is Deadfellows Brewing. From there, they were able to go into their trips, where they were able to then click on their current trip and generate a route with those bars located below. From their route, they were able to share it with a friend. Now, that was the first task that the users needed to perform. Now, in their social exploration, they were able to look into the trips, go into their current and their past trips. They were able to invite a friend to look at a past trip that they've been on. And then they're also able to go into their friends, where they can see all their friends here, invite them on trips, as well as message their friends, which is kind of an overview of our prototype. Now for our experiment, we did A/B testing, where they needed to perform that scenario I just demonstrated with each application on Google Maps, as well as our prototype. They were not given any coaching or guidance while they were performing that. And then they were able to explore any novel features. So we gave them a few specific tasks on friend recommendations and trip planning, and then also gave them time to explore freely any features that they were interested in at their own pace. And we asked them to think aloud with the features so we could gain more information. For our experiment design, our null hypothesis was that user performance and satisfaction using the prototypes is less than or equal to in Google Maps. And our alternative was user performance and satisfaction using the prototype are higher than those in Google Maps. We also performed participant recruiting through convenient sampling, and they were between the age of 19 and 26 years old. For our independent variables, there were the tool used, which was Google Maps and our prototype. And our dependent variables were the user satisfaction, task completion time, and error count. And then from there, we were able to gain some results that we noticed that there was a significant main effect based on the app on the time taken. Figma was much quicker than Google Maps. For our errors by application, there was no significant effect, but we do believe that is because of this outlier demonstrated up here. And then we'll move into our thematic analysis, where we noticed that users performed faster on our prototype than in Google Maps, and they were also more satisfied with it. Now, they really enjoyed the novel and social features, seeing where friends had been and being able to share a trip. But there were some areas where we needed to work on, such as the signifiers, feedback, and clarity, where there's misunderstandings of buttons, lack of feedback. And then users frequently compared to Google Maps perform this task, which caused significant transfer effects. Now, in conclusion, we noted that users liked the novelty and specificity of our tool, and they completed the tasks faster and felt more satisfied. But it is important to note that the value of Google Maps as a mapping platform should be integrated rather than trying to recreate it. Finally, our UI needs stronger affordances and labels, because these improvements would focus on learnability. Thank you so much.